Comfy. Comfy. Where am I? I feel heavy. Like I'm stuck. Okay, now I'm feeling claustrophobic. With that thought he begins to push out with his hands. Crack. Ha. Was I in a damn egg? And why is it so dark here? He begins to try and look for a light source. But after a minute of not finding one gives up. Deciding to just feel with his hands he begins to probe the egg he was in a moment ago. I really was in a damn egg. Why was I in an egg though? And why does it feel like I'm moving in water? Suddenly a screen flickers to life. Initiation complete. Scree. 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 That was definitely me. Just what the hell happened? Status assessment complete. Displaying status. Name, not applicable. Level, 0. Race, Deep Sea Leech, variant. Health, 20 mana, 190 stamina, 20. Attributes. Strength, 1. Vitality, 2. Endurance, 2. Agility, 3. Intelligence, 17. Wisdom, 19. Will, 16. After several minutes of venting his anger he finally began to study what was laying before his eyes. Hiya, nothing else to do here, so I guess I'll just study my status screen. I'm guessing my physical stats are low because I was just born. That leaves my mental stats. They're several times higher than my physical stats, but they could be bad compared to an average human. Are there humans in this world? Maybe. Maybe not. Guess I'll find out someday. Wait, I'm getting sidetracked. So. Stats looks like a point of vitality equals 10 health. Same for endurance and stamina and mana and wisdom. I don't quite get what will is for, but it's high, so I'm fine with it. I should probably start figuring out what to do. Food and such will be important since I don't want to die at the bottom of an ocean. I'm a leech, so I'll need to find big fishies to leech off of, but how the hell am I gonna find them? Welp. Not gonna figure it out with just standing here. After the self-evaluation he began to try and make out a way to orient himself. Several minutes of trying later he had found out that he could kind of sense things around him with the help of water movement. I'm kinda like a bat. With a little bit of tinkering he got somewhat used to using his pseudo-echolocation. Now then. I hate to do it, but I have to find food. Which means I have to swim. In the depths of an ocean. I hate this so much. Several minutes of convincing himself later he was beginning to swim around. Finding it almost instinctual. He began to try and use his echolocation ability to sense the sea bed and look around. I have 4 goddamn eyes and none of them work. Half an hour later he found a carcass of an animal which looked to be around the size of a bus. Around the carcass were many small, compared to him, fish that seemed to be feasting on it. Some were munching its flesh. Others were scurrying around its stomach and some were nibbling on its bones. After motionlessly observing the action for a few minutes he began to go closer. It sounded absolutely disgusting, but I wonder what it tastes like. When he arrived the smaller animals gave him a wide breadth. Even the somewhat armored bone nibblers were keeping a distance. Am I an apex predator or something? He found it hard to believe since looking at the other fish they seemed to be stronger than him. The bone nibblers were armored and had a jagged head extending into a spike. The group of fish near the stomach were fast and had tails that could hit hard. Evidenced by small dead fish around them. The last were the flesh eaters. They composed of different species. One had an open maw with quite a few teeth. Another was relatively bulky. All were positively dangerous. Is it because of my teeth? Me being a leech? Or because I look bigger than them? Whatever it was he continued on until he found himself in front of a dead, still bleeding small fish. Before he could even register what happened he was sucking on it. What the hell? I didn't even think of eating it. Although it is delicious. Within seconds the corpse was sucked dry and tossed out of his mouth. Damn. That's fast. The body looks 2 times smaller now and it's still about the size of quarter of my tail. And it was delicious. What followed was a streak of sucking dry bodies of dead fish around the stomach swarm. +1 level. +1 strength. +2 agility. Ha. Oh. A level up. Neat. After sucking dry 3 more corpses he began to wander around the giant carcass and think. Now that I have food I'll need shelter. That shouldn't be too hard since the sea bed has rocky outcrops here and there. After that I'll need to consider what to do. How am I even so calm in this situation? I guess the sea isn't that scary when I can sense the sea bed right below me. He began to look around for a shelter to rest at and after a quarter of an hour of searching came upon an outcrop big enough to hide him and give good cover. With a resting place found he laid down and began to think. Now then. What to do? I guess I can look at my status screen. How do I open it? Just say it out loud or something. Status screen. Name, not applicable. Level, 1. Race, Deep Sea Leech, Variant. Health, 20 mana, 190 stamina, 20. Attributes. Strength, 2. Vitality, 2. Endurance, 2. Agility, 5. Intelligence, 17. Wisdom, 19. Will, 16. So my stats did change. I did feel somewhat faster thanks to the +2 agility. I'm an idiot, aren't I? I still don't have a name, huh? I guess no time like the present. But what should I name myself? Based on my looks I'd say something related to rocks. Granite maybe. Bedrock. Nah. Too unimaginative. Obsidian maybe. Yeah. I like obsidian. I'll name myself Obsai. Do you wish to set your name to OBSI? Beware, IT can't be changed. Yes. I guess. Congratulations, your name is now OBSI. Shri. I'm tired. I'll go to sleep and think about this later. The water feels like a comfy blanket. Comfy. Skills and titles. Obsai woke up startled. Feeling wet all over and in a dark cramped space. Where am I? Looking around he remembered his predicament and what had happened yesterday. Oh. Oh shit. Why was I so calm? I am a leech under a damn ocean. I hate oceans. How didn't I panic before? I need to find a way out. He began to make his way out. Being overly stressed, Obsai didn't notice a small stone poking out and bumped into it. Chomp. Boo. It hurts. Damn stone, where did the stone go? Did I bit it off? Isn't my strength 2? Status. Name, Obsai. Level, 1. Race, Deep Sea Leech, Variant. Health, 20 mana, 190 stamina, 20. Attributes. Strength, 2. Vitality, 2. Endurance, 2. Agility, 5. Intelligence, 17. Wisdom, 19. Will, 16. My strength is still 2. Is it really that strong? Whatever, I'm kinda hungry and blood for some reason tastes delicious. With that, Obsai started going back to the direction he remembered the carcass being at. When he arrived he saw that the small fish had done a good number on the carcass. A good chunk of it already eaten. Did they stay here the whole time and eat? Whatever. I need to eat too. I guess I'll go pick at the flesh eaters since some of them are bigger than the others. Obsai began to swim towards a single flesh eater. It was the bulky kind and quite frankly seemed delicious. Slowly he stalked towards it. When it was 4 meters away from him he lunged at it. His teeth easily cutting into its body he started sucking out its blood. After several seconds of struggle the fish was dead and he got a notification. You killed a level 3 deep sea bulk fish. Bonus experience for killing a foe 3 times your level. Immediately after he got a second notification. Skill, blood sucking has reached level 2. I have skills. Of course I do, this feels like a game. How do I look at my skills then? Is it like the status screen? Skills. Current skills. Blood sucking level 2. Swim level 4. Bite level 1. I have skills. They don't seem great but I have skills. Doing a little happy dance he considered what to do next. If eating live ones gives more experience then I should hunt them more. Plus they're tasty. With a new resolve he started looking for a second one to eat. Unfortunately for him his antics made all the flesh-eating fish and even some bone-eating ones wary of him. I guess I did a small blunder there. Some of the bone nibblers don't seem to pay attention to me, they should be good enough then. Oasis began to creep towards his second target. This time he went as close to it as he could, the distance between them being 2.5 meters, he charged. Chomp. Unfortunately he bit into the armored part and got stuck, only his first 2 rows of teeth penetrating into the fish. Left with no choice but to suck he began, the process was many times slower than usually. As the fish began to thrash the other bone nibblers noticed this and began to swim towards him. Admittedly they weren't that fast, he could easily outswim them but at the moment he was teeth first stuck in their kin who was thrashing around. Oh shit. I gotta do something. Arms. I have arms. As the first of the fish reached him he grabbed the one he was biting and maneuvered it between them, making it crash straight into its brethren. Take that. With a final push he bit further until the fish in his maw died. With the death of the fish came the notification but Oasis was too busy freeing himself to read it. As he finally managed to pull his teeth free another of the bone nibblers charged, making him dodge left where he was sandwiched between the carcass and a mob of angry fish. Oh no. They charged at him, but being fish none of them were smart enough to charge at once, giving Oasis room to dodge. Left, right, left, left again. Bite. Bite. On instinct he bit into one of the last chargers, getting right between the chitinous armor. Within seconds it was wrung dry and he received another couple of notifications. As the message ringed in his head he pushed the dead fish away and began making his way away from the carcass and back to his resting place. Upon reaching his home, he slumped down and began reading through his notifications. You killed a level 4 shell fish. Bonus experience awarded for killing a foe 4 times your level. Plus 1 level. Plus 2 strength. Plus 1 agility. You killed a level 4 shell fish. Bonus experience awarded for killing a foe higher level than you. Skill, bite has reached level 2. I almost died. I have been here for a day and I almost died. What the hell was I thinking? I guess I should just rest for now. Hopefully they don't remember who killed their brethren. The second day Oasis once again woke up startled, this time to a message. Congratulations, you have reached maturity and have unlocked titles. Calculating bonus stats for reaching maturity. Plus 1 endurance. Plus 3 strength. Plus 1 vitality. Plus 5 agility. Calculating received titles. Title, Terror of the Small received. Conditions, terrorize being smaller than you, kill being smaller than you, instill fear to being smaller than you. Effect, plus 2 to all physical stats when fighting being smaller than you will feel inherent fear towards you if you so choose. On the hunt fishing. Oasis woke up grumpy again, he was still underwater, still a leech and his home started to feel small. If he hadn't bitten of that piece of rock yesterday he would have to have done it today to simply get out. Compared to before he has grown about half times bigger than before. I think I'm twice as big as a German Shepherd now, and about 4 times the length. I will have to find another place to rest at probably, since I don't know if I will grow bigger again. As Oasis waddled out of his cave with some effort, he thought about the situation with the bone nibblers. Will they still attack me? Or are they that dumb? Only one way to find out, since I don't have another food source. 10 minutes later, when he saw the carcass, he slowed down and stared to approach it carefully. When he finally reached it, he noticed the carcass is even more eaten, not as much as would be expected from the sight yesterday, but still somewhat more eaten. What surprised him more was the fact that the bone nibblers completely ignored him. You got to be kidding me, they really are that stupid. With a heightened mood, he approached a bulky flesh eater. This time he only got about 5 meters close before it noticed him thanks to his increased size. What it didn't know was that Oasis' speed had increased tremendously, and in just a second he was biting into the bulky fish. Holy shit, I'm fast. My size may become a problem, but I think I can work around it. With his catch in him maw, he sucked it dry in a little more than a second. Sucking speed went up as well. You killed a level 3 deep sea bulk fish. Bonus experience for kill a foe higher level than you. I wonder how hard getting a level is. Well, it doesn't really matter. I'll probably reach level 3 anyways. Oasis started looking for another target. When he found a second bulky fish, he got as close to it as the last one before he was noticed. He charged it, biting right into its rear. It went as well as the last one did. Unfortunately, all the flesh-eating fish were wary of him again. Not so unfortunately, he got another message. You killed a level 2 deep sea bulk fish. You have earned the skill charge. Description: charge at enemies with increased speed. Wow, a new skill. So skills can be earned like titles. What about other stuff? Will I get a stat increase if I swim long enough? I will test it later. Right now I want to eat more. As the bone nibblers were mostly ignoring him, he began sneaking up on one of them. This one was busy eating a tailbone and didn't notice him before a couple hundred teeth sank into it right between its armored pieces. As Oasis got the notifications, he started swimming away as fast as possible, leaving behind a couple dozen angry bone nibblers. Now then, I got what I wanted. Let's check the notification. You killed a level 3 shellfish. Bonus experience for killing a foe higher level than you. +1 level. +2 strength. +1 agility. +1 endurance. Wait a second, I got more stats this time. Is it because I matured? I think so. Anyways, time to look at my status. I should have done it before. Name: Oasis. Level: 3. Race: Deep Sea Leech, Variant. Health: 30 mana, 190 stamina, 40. Attributes: Strength: 9. Vitality: 3. Endurance: 4. Agility: 12. Intelligence: 17. Wisdom: 19. Will: 16. Damn, my strength is high now, not as high as agility though, and with the bonus to physical stats from my title I back a punch, although my vitality is shitty and endurance isn't a lot better. If I can gain stat points like skills, then I can just swim a marathon to up my endurance, but how will I increase my vitality? Getting hit? I have it too low to try and I don't want to get hurt. That's that, I guess. I also got a new skill, let's check it out then. Current skills. Blood sucking level 2. Swim level 4. Bite level 2. Charge level 1. Not bad if I say so myself. With that, Oasis resigned himself to endurance training and began to swim from the carcass to his cave. The activity left him with time for his favorite pastime, thinking about random things. Chomp. Oasis' thoughts continued to wander as he swam back and forth, and on his 6th lap he was out of endurance. You have exerted yourself. +1 endurance. So I can train my stats. Wouldn't it get harder to exert myself when I have higher stats? As he thought that, Oasis wiggled his way into his cave. I'm a caveman cavefish. Settling in for the night, he considered what to do next. Should I aim for level 10? The fish here seem low-leveled, and if this is anything reasonable of a game like reality, then I'll get less experience for killing lower-leveled stuff. I guess I'll get to level 5 and see if I can take on the fastest fish swarm near the Karka's stomach. Tired. Trance. When Oasis woke up, he had a few things to consider. Squeezing his way out of his home cave hole, he thought about finding a new one to rest at. Fat change. This one was one of the biggest ones I found. Although I could probably dig myself a new hole, or I could expand this one. Yeah, I should do that, but first, food. He stretched and began making his way to the carcass. When he arrived there, the bone nibblers seemed to take note of him this time, moving closer to each other to avoid being ambushed. They're a no-go then. What about the flesh eaters then? As he thought that, he saw two bulky fishies making a standoff. Should I? They don't seem to notice me, and if I'm quick enough I'll get both of them. Yeah, I'll try. Oasis began to move closer, closing the distance between him and the fishies. He was only 3 meters away when he lunged at the first one of the two, sucking it dry in a second. The second one was still too baffled to act, earning Oasis another kill. You killed a... Yeah, whatever, tell me when I get a level up or something interesting. Now who's next? He looked around and noticed another flesh eater. This time around it was the one with sharp teeth. I don't know how dangerous they are, but from the looks of it they're at least more dangerous than the bulky ones. It doesn't seem to notice me, and I do want to reach level 5 soon. Alright, I'll sneak up on it from behind so it can't bite me back. As he made his way towards what he thought would be its blind spot, he noticed it slightly shifting towards him with its side. Can it see me? No way, everything here is as blind as a bat. Maybe it also has an echolocation ability. It does look like a predator. I'll slightly nudge myself to left and let water carry me, then stay still until it ignores me. Executing his plan, Oasis nudged himself left and floated for a bit, then stayed as still as possible. It was surprisingly easy to stay still for him. Maybe I'm supposed to be an ambush predator. Oasis stayed still for a few minutes until he was certain the sharp teeth didn't pay attention to him. He charged it and with a quick bit began borrowing the creature's blood. Surprisingly, it took him a good couple of seconds to suck the sharp teeth dry, and when he did, he instantly understood why. You killed a level 6 small sharp maw. Bonus experience for killing a foe 2 times your level. +1 level. +2 agility. +1 strength. +1 vitality. Level 6. And a level up. I finally got more vitality, and I know what I will be hunting now. Maybe I'll even level up some of my skills. With that thought, Oasis began to look for another target, falling into a trance of sneaking, moving slightly and charging. After several hours of this he was finally finished, not because he ran out of things to hunt. Instead, the sharp maw noticed his actions and began actively attacking him whenever possible. That, coupled with his fatigue, pushed him to stop the hunt and make his way back towards his dwelling. On the way back he had ample time to think, as he was too tired to move quickly. That was tiring. I thought it was just the new surroundings, but I'm definitely get tired quicker, although it does make sense if I'm supposed to be an ambush predator. Also, the gains from this endeavor. Although I didn't get that many of the sharp maws turning the couple hours, I still got some, plus the few bulky fishies and a lone bone nibbler on my way out gave me lots of gains. +1 levels. +2 agility. +1 strength. +1 endurance. Your skill, charge, has reached level 2. Your skill, blood sucking, has reached level 3. This was a lot of gains. Now the last hurdle I have to deal with is expanding my cave. This is gonna take forever. When he reached his hiding hole, he started biting out chunks of rock, finding every bite as uncomfortable as his first one but not quite as painful. The endeavor took 3 hours to complete as he had to rest twice and make it bigger than just tight fit since he was sure he would grow again. Am I growing so fast because I'm eating so much, or am I eating so much because I'm growing so fast? Whatever, I'm exhausted and want to sleep. I for the love of God hope I don't wake up having to wiggle out again, or to something startling. Crustaceans go rumble rumble. Rumble rumble. Unfortunately for Oasis, he was again woken startled. This time around it was the ground shaking and rumbling that woke him. Scree! Oasis grumbled as he made his way out of his newly renovated hole, finding it smaller than when he went to sleep. It still had plenty of room for him. When he was outside he began looking around. Unfortunately the heavy rumbling skewed with his echolocation a little, making it difficult to see around. After a minute of looking and finding nothing near his home he moved on to the carcass, arriving there in 20 minutes instead of the usual 10. Seems like none of them like the rumbling either. What the hell is causing this? I've never seen a volcano, but I don't think it would be like this, without magma and stuff. The animals around the carcass were busy eating as fast as they could, none bothering to keep to the norm and just eating. Multiple fights had broken out, most likely for the best feeding spot, Oasis mused. But why are they so busy eating? Is something coming? This is a fantasy world, so it would make sense for something dangerous to exist, but this? Just some rumbling and they're freaking out, although as they say, when in Rome. With that Oasis began sneaking around the sharp maws and attacking bulky fishies, scooping them up in preparation to whatever this is. None of the fish took note of him. He even managed to snipe a sharp maw, netting him a new skill, Sneak. You have earned the skill, Sneak. Description: when sneaking, enemies are less likely to detect you, bonus damage against unsuspecting enemies. Neat. In the 20 minutes he had had his little hunt, the rumbling had gotten louder and louder until some of the fish started scurrying away. Huh? Why are they swimming away? Wait, the rumbling has gotten a lot stronger, don't tell me. As he thought that, he began looking around, finding a spot where he felt the rumbling come. After finding it he made his way towards it. This is utter idiocy, but I have to know. And no, he did. In a few minutes he started seeing lights, wondering what they were. He went closer. At this point the rumbling was so loud he couldn't see with his echolocation, resorting to using his eyes to see. What he saw he didn't expect. Giant, crawling, glowing isopods. There were hundreds, maybe even thousands, of isopods, and they were crawling towards him. Oasis freaked out. He saw no end to them in either direction, and going backwards only delayed the inevitable, but with no other choice he made his way back to the carcass, reaching it in only a minute. When he arrived more of the fish were gone, most of the bulky fishies, half the sharp maw and all of the speedy fishies. Only the bone nibblers weren't running away, contently eating away at the exposed bone. With nothing else to do but to eat, Oasis dived in, ignoring any thoughts of being discreet and starting to eat the few bulky fishies left. In but a few minutes the remaining bulky fishies were eaten. At this point the glow of the isopods reached to the carcass, making many of the remaining sharp maw turn tail and run. The few that didn't flee were awestruck by the isopods' glow, some even moving forwards. This left Oasis with ample opportunity to eat at least one of them. Taking only a minute to sneak to it he struck, the sharp maw still entranced by the glow nearing them. With a final kill Oasis got a new notification, getting him out of his panic and making him think again. +1 level. +2 agility. +1 strength. +1 endurance. Status. Name, Oasis. Level, 6. Race, Deep Sea Leech, Variant. Health, 40 mana, 190 stamina, 70. Attributes. Strength, 12. Vitality, 4. Endurance, 7. Agility, 18. Intelligence, 17. Wisdom, 19. Will, 16. I've been swimming around constantly. Why isn't it showing how much stamina I have left? Whatever, that's not the important part. I have a ton of agility and strength. I should be able to easily outrun the crawlies, but that won't work. Think around them, possible, but I see no end to them under. Over. Yes. Over. I can go over them. Why didn't I think of that? But will it be safe? They have so many legs, some of them are bound to be able to jump, wait for something else to go over them. But who would be that stupid? Oh. The sharp maw and bone nibblers. Looking around, Oasis found a good place to observe the fishies and isopods. As he watched the first shark maw reach the isopods, he saw the being cut in half in a second. No way am I gonna get close to them. The swipe had gotten the other shark maw out of their delusions, making them swim back or over the crustacean horde. As Oasis had suspected, they do jump, and they jump high. The ones who went over were gone in mere seconds, although he bet that the isopods weren't fast but powerful, propelling themselves strong enough to reach their target quickly. Okay, that can be exploited, but first I have to see how many of them are there. No way am I going to jump if there's no other side. As Oasis thought that he did something he hated the most, swimming upwards. But unfortunately for him, his situation didn't allow him to hesitate. When he reached about 30 meters high, he looked again. To his dismay, there were lots of isopods. As Oasis mumbled to himself, he went higher, reaching about 50 meters from the seabed. Just don't think about it. Everything fine and dandy, there's no horde of deadly isopods below you, you're on a nice walk. He continued to mumble to himself and began to swim, not daring to think about anything else but the other side. Oh gods above, ground. I love you so much I cold kiss you. Wait, no, there's isopod shit everywhere. Oasis had reached the other side. The swim went by quite uneventfully, only some of the shark maw trying to get over the horde of isopods. He didn't see what happened to the bone nibblers, but mused they must have died since they were stupidly stupid. Now what do? I don't have a resting place nor food. I'm quite full, but I'll probably just waste it all on growing bigger, stupid body. As he started looking around again, he resigned himself to getting a new home, being quite certain his last one got trampled. This sucks. There's no outcrops here. New fishies will probably come here to eat all the shit laying around, but I don't really want to eat them, although I only suck out their blood, so it wouldn't be that bad. Still yucky. Having looked around for an hour now, he decided to dig himself a new hole, choosing the place most clean of shit. 8 hours, 8 goddamn hours, and I'm done. Finally. I want to drop down and rest immediately. Yeah, I'll do that. Settling into his new cave, he was too tired to notice the small fish already scurrying out to feast on the aftermath of the isopod horde. Sleepy. Getting used to new environments. Oasis woke up sensing lots of movement with his echolocation. Cursing the god of sleep, he crumbled awake and slithered out of his cave 2.0. Outside, the movement felt even more deafening. There were quite a few different types of fish, some were grouped together, but mostly there were lone scavengers. Taking a minute to get used to it all, he began thinking up a plan for today. I suppose I'll be hunting, a lot. What I need to do is study the species here and go for the easy ones first. Although I don't believe any of them are strong, there may be other predators lurking around. I also need some exercise, I feel like I'm getting fat. As Oasis stretched, he took note of the physique of the closest group and a few stragglers. Oasis' thoughts went on like that for a while until he remembered what he was supposed to do. Mentally facepalming, he started moving, his first target being the bulky fishie's cousin. Creeping close, he was only a meter away before he lunged, killing the poor fish with simply his bite. You killed a level 1 bulky cleaner fish. Damn, they're weak. Died from simply a bite. And not that fulfilling either. I'd need to hunt at least 10 of them to feel somewhat satisfied. I guess it leaves only the group fish now. They're probably not much better, but there's a lot of them. How do I sneak up on them though? As Oasis observed the group for a few minutes, he noticed none of them paying attention to things above them. I guess I can sneak up on them, paid him TSSSS. That's a horrible joke. And I really don't like the idea of going up. I really need to get rid of my fear of heights, and water since I'm in a damn ocean. Oasis swam away from the swarm a little, making sure none of them noticed him ascending upwards. When he was about 8 meters from the sea bed he started moving slowly towards the fishy group. Once he was above them he waited for an opportune moment to strike. In a few minutes he noticed the group somewhat dispersing. At that moment he attacked. In half a second his teeth bit into the flesh of 2 of the fish, sucking them dry instantly. Moving on he attacked left towards the edge of the still stunned swarm. He had made full use of his title, the fish too terrified to do anything. He bit another fish, grabbing 2 others at the same time and whipping his tail left and right, killing 4 others with pure blunt force. At this point half the group of fish were dead, with only 9 fish left. Oasis was confident in victory. He sucked dry the 2 fish he had crushed in his arms and moved on to attack more of the fish. Finally the fish gained their bearings and started to move. Unfortunately for them they were too late and Oasis was too fast, whipping his tail again, killing 3 more fish. He charged the cluster of the remaining 4 fish. They were too stupid to split up, causing 2 to be sucked dry of blood and the remaining 2 to be grabbed. Swiftly crushing the 2 in his hands Oasis began cleaning up the battlefield, sucking dry the bodies he whipped at with his tail. You killed a. Condense it. You killed 11 level 2 and 7 level 3 deep sea swarm tuna. You have earned the skill, tail whip. Oh cool, a new skill and I can condense the text. I also got a lot of food from this. I guess this is a viable food source. Next up is exploring this shit-filled place. Oasis started to look around and immediately regretted it. Killing 18 fish in a span of 10 seconds had left a carnage. Leaving his massacre behind he went scouting. It had taken 2 hours for Oasis to scout out his surroundings in a half a kilometer radius. Most of the time went to hunting and clearing out his immediate surroundings in a 100-meter radius. He also discovered many more species. Most of them weren't interesting or were a variation of cleaner fish. One interesting species was a cousin to the sickly acid fish, but instead of expelling necrotic acid on death it blew up and expelled extremely corrosive acid. Oasis found it out when he whipped at it with his tail, causing it to explode and corrode away nearby stone. Luckily for him his tail whip was powerful enough to push the exploding fish away, giving him time to swim away from the acid. The kill notification identified the fish as a level 1 explosive acid fish. Another interesting fish he found was a predator fish going after the weak cleaners. Oasis of course killed it and was disappointed to find it level 3, named small nibbler fish. At least the name fits. Returning to his hole he was pleased to find that the fish corpses had been removed, even the sickly acid fish had been eaten. Settling into his hole he went over his gains in the day. +1 level. +1 strength. +1 agility. +2 endurance. The fish here may be weak but there's a lot of them. Today alone I must have killed hundreds of them and I probably didn't even dent their numbers. Also, how is the experience calculated? If it's by level alone then I would have gotten more than 1 level. Whatever, I'm sure I'll figure it out someday. For now, sleep. Tuna yummy. Routine and a cliffhanger. When Oasis awoke again he was surprised, not because of another rumbling or a growth spurt, the opposite actually. He had for once had a good rest. Thank you, God of sleep. I'll forever be grateful to you. Squiggling happily he rolled out of his cave, stretched and started once more looking around. I didn't even have a growth spurt. This is great. Except the routine, although the fish are tasty. As Oasis began planning out his hunt he looked around. Finding a group of swarm tuna he decided to start from them. Definitely not doing it because they're so yummy, not at all. Executing his tried and trusted method he snuck above them and waited. 3 minutes later he saw 5 of them dispersing from the group. Deciding to start from them he charged. In a second they were all dead, 2 by his bite, 2 by being crushed and the last punched to dead. Gore flying everywhere he whipped his tail, feeling it impact at least 4 of them. Immediately after he bludgeoned his way into their group, Crushing another 2 in his hands, he swung his tail wildly, killing 3 more of the fish. It had taken him 3 seconds to eradicate most of the group, leaving 3 alive to suck them to death. Man, I'm brutal. 3 seconds and 17 fish are dead. A lot of them died to my tail whip, so it should level up soon. It also causes a lot of gore. Like a lot. I'm feeling sick from looking at this. Still can't puke though. As Oasis thought to himself, he began his cleanup, sucking out all the blood he could. After finishing his cleanup, he started looking for more prey. Seeing quite a few possible targets, he went on the move. Ah, look, the sickly acid fish, I should probably kill it to know what it is. And he did as he thought, getting the notification after whipping the fish with his tail. You killed a level 2 raw acid fish. I knew it, this thing is disgusting. Anyways. He continued on to the next group of tuna, the battle going the same way as the previous, being also a complete massacre. As Oasis finished his 8th group of tuna, he considered exercising. I'm really getting fat, really should exercise. Alright, I'll do that, right after the next group. It was not in fact right after the next group, he had taken down 3 more groups and gotten a level up. +1 level. +1 vitality. +2 strength. +1 agility. I don't remember ever getting only 1 agility. I really am fat, aren't I? Well, time for exercise, I guess. Swimming around is so boring though, I wish I could hit something instead. I'm a genius. I'll just swim and hit things at the same time. That way I can also train tail whip. With a new cheerful attitude, Oasis set out to do laps around his cleared area. It had been 5 hours since Oasis began his exercise, turning which he managed to not rest at all. He also killed plenty of fish, learning to be more accurate with his swings and netting him a level in tail whip. By the end of the exercise he was so tired he found it hard to keep himself awake. Swimming his way towards his whole home, he thought about today's gains. So I got a level and a skill level, but noting from the exercise. You have exerted yourself. +3 endurance. Why didn't you tell me before? It could have boosted my motivation. Maybe I could have gone for another lap or something. Gah, whatever, at least I can sleep now. I sincerely hope I won't get any fatter. Reaching his hiding hole, Oasis went in and slumped down, falling asleep in seconds. Unbeknownst to him, there was something rummaging through his Massacre, something that was very interested in meeting him. Stupid exercise. New friend. Oasis woke up today feeling wonderful. Nothing had disturbed him and he felt refreshed after the exercise. Crawling out of his cave hole, he stretched and mused what he should do today. Ah, finally some quiet time. I can finally think without the constant fish swimming around and, wait, it's quiet? Oh no. Oasis quickly dived back into his cave and began sensing with his echolocation. No, that can't be possible, there were lots of fish still around when I went to sleep. Another predator? Why here? There was so little fish around because I kept hunting them. The smell of blood? But I ate most of it. Just what happened here? Finding no answer with his echolocation, he decided to move out and find the cause of this all. He started circling his territory, finding everything gone in a little over 100-meter radius gone. After that line there were fish again. Further investigation led him to find many dead fish corpses. Around 50 dead fish lay throughout his territory, none of which he had killed. Still they had teeth marks on them and were sucked dry of blood. What the hell, did I sleepwalk? No, these teeth marks are smaller than mine, about 70 centimeters across. Mine are above a meter in diameter. A second leech? But where did they go? And why are all the fish gone if they only killed 50? Are they really that bad at hunting? If so, then I gotta find them. No way will I lose my feeding grounds because someone incompetent barged in here. With that resolve went out to find who had come to fester on his feed source. Going by the logic that he dug a cave to hide in, he began searching the ground. It had taken his 30 minutes to find, mostly because he started searching from the wrong direction. When he had gotten close to it he felt it. What's that? It feels familiar. Skin feel though but flexible, 2 arms, lots of teeth. I found you. Unlucky for you that I know how dangerous those teeth are. As Oasis slowly moved towards the entrance of the far smaller cave he considered what to do. Kill them? No, their kin and I will be difficult, maybe shoo them away. But they seem so small, like a kid. That leaves me with cooperation. I don't even know if they're willing to cooperate with me. That sounds like a stupid way to die. I guess I'll wake them for now. No real chance I'll be able to ambush them when they have echolocation and the cave's too small for me. Ready at the cave entrance he screeched. Scree! Wake up and come out. He immediately felt shuffling from the cave, the small leech almost barging out, barely managing to stop as it saw Oasis ready at the entrance. Scree! What do you think you're doing here? This is my plot. What Oasis had expected was an attack, perhaps even an attempt at intimidation. What he got though he was wholly unprepared for. Scree! Sorry. Wah, I can understand them. Scree! You can understand me. Scree! Why yes, I'm sorry for coming here. I thought it was safe here and that you wouldn't be mad. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Enough with the sorries. I expected you to attack me or try intimidation. This I didn't expect. You're just a child. Yes, AAA, but sir, aren't you a child too? I mean I don't want to be rude and dash. Enough, yes I'm a child, but do I look like one? Do you feel like I'm a child? No. See, not a child. You on the other hand are so small I would have mistaken you for a newborn. I'm not a newborn. I'm 28 sleeps old. Huh. Well that's unexpected. You're still small though, and you sound like a child. I'm not a child. Right anyways, come out of the hole. You'll have to explain why all the fish are gone. Okay. As the new leech came out Oasis' suspicion was confirmed. It was small. He remembered not being that small anymore on his second day here. When it finally got out of its hole it fidgeted nervously. Don't worry, I won't eat you. Now explain. Why there are no fish around here anymore. As the small leech started its expansion he got more and more confident that the thing didn't know squat about hunting. The kills it got seemingly random and based on luck. Alright, that's enough. I'll teach you to hunt, maybe you'll even grow up. Ah, by the way, my name is Oasis. It's not my fault I'm so small. There was barely anything for me to eat. And I'm Karka. FFS, how the hell does it manage to act cute as a damn terrifying leech monster? Alright Karka, what do you know about hunting? We'll set a baseline of what I teach based on that. Unfortunately for Oasis, Karka knew nothing of hunting. The poor thing had fed on dead fish it found, not even getting to suck that much blood which stopped it from reaching maturity. Hell, it just reached level 3. What did I get myself into? Oasis cursed himself as he began to teach it the basics of hunting, how to move around quietly and quickly and how to observe prey. Also tail whip, that was important. 3 hours later and Karka had reached level 4, with the guidance of Oasis she also learned tail whip and sneak. She was too small to learn charge yet. Also Oasis found out she was a girl. That's why she sounded feminine. For a while I thought I sounded like that too. Ending their little outing they began to swim back. They chatted for a bit until Karka started swimming away. Where are you going? Oasis asked. My cave. Karka answered quite flustered. And what if another predator comes looking around because of the clearing you caused? I doubt you could win even against a small nibbler fish and they're downright awful at being a predator. I just thought you wouldn't want someone weak to bother you. You're still small like a tuna, I'd feel bad if you died. Come on then, let's go. As they arrived at Oasis' cave Karka began digging a new hole a few meters away. What are you doing now? I'll just expand my hole so you can fit inside it. Ah, Is she blushing? Can Leech blush? Oh, that's not what I meant. What if something attacks you in that hole? It's a few meters away but the hole would be too small for me to come and help. Oh, at Opsai's response Karka visibly deflated. As Opsai started digging his cave was soon big enough for Karka to come and help, together they finished the expansion in 3 hours. Opsai, why did we dig the hole so big? It fits much more than just the two of us. Karka began blushing again. Poor girl still hopes. For a few reasons, I might have a growth spurt again, you will reach maturity soon, there's quite a lot of things that could happen, there, now you won't be so hopeless as to become a burden. As Opsai thought that he settled into his newly expanded cave, soon joined by Karka who got as close to him as possible, to her disappointment Opsai was already sleeping. Unbeknownst to Opsai he had dug himself a hole in a more metaphorical way as Karka decided to stay with him as long as possible. Stupid human physiology in fish. Exploring the sea floor. Opsai woke up annoyed, not because it was loud or rumbling or anything like that at all. He was annoyed because his new companion had chosen him as a bed. She has the whole damn cave to choose from and she sleeps on top of me. Shaking Karka off he stretched and made his way out of the cave. Alright then, what shall we do today? Opsai asked Karka. Hunting. Sure. We'll probably have to search the seabed as well today. Why? Because there's nothing worthwhile here. But I can still level. And I can't. Karka. Oh. Oh indeed. What level are you, Mr. Opsai? No need to call me Mr., and level 8. Whoa, that's a lot. Not in my opinion, and I want to get to level 10 in at most a week. Can I reach level 10 too? Opsai laughed at that, you should first reach maturity, but sure. They continued to chat like that until they found a suitable group of tuna to attack. It was the first time Karka was going to fight swarm tuna, making Opsai quite anxious. On the other hand, Karka was excited to hunt together with Opsai. The hunt had gone swimmingly. After taking down 3 more groups Karka reached level 5 and Opsai had gotten another level in Tail Whip as well as a new title. Title, Alpha Male, received. Conditions. Be considered a leader by most of your pack, provide for your pack, teach a member of your pack, protect a member of your pack. Effects. You're respected by your kin and pack members, enemies of your pack fear you. Effects evolution. This title is weird as hell, it also gave confirmation that evolution exists. Also what pack? There's only one other leech besides me. Finishing up their hunt Opsai and Karka chatted as they went back to the cave. Hey Opsai. Why are we going back to the cave? So we know from where we can orient ourselves. And besides, if we're mapping out the sea floor, why not place our cave in the center of it? That does make sense, you really are the pack leader. The what now? The pack leader? Did you by any chance get a title? I did. It's named Member of the Obsidian Pack. HAA, so it's named after me. Whatever, let's begin our scouting. 6 hours later they had moved a half circle around their cave in a 4 kilometers radius, finding many notable things. Amongst those are a few turfs of other predators. A scaly snake-like crocodile-headed eel, a snake-headed giant shrimp, and last but not least a acid-spitting catfish-like four-legged tarantula. The deep really is stuff of nightmares. They also found some other interesting places. One that had lots of metal in the ground and small fish eating the metal, a place that glowed light blue and attracted many small fishies, a giant ribcage, and a seemingly endless valley a few kilometers across. Definitely a lair of something. Having had their fill of the scouting they headed back to the cave. On the way there Opsai smacked lots of fish with his tail, he smacked lots of fish throughout the scouting mission, and finally got a level up. +1 level. +2 endurance. +1 agility. +1 strength. I should probably take a look at my status. Name, Oasis. Level, 9. Race, Deep Sea Leech, Variant. Health, 50 mana, 190 stamina, 120. Attributes. Strength, 15. Vitality, 5. Endurance, 12. Agility, 19. Intelligence, 17. Wisdom, 19. Will, 16. How is my endurance so? Oh yeah, the training. My stats are coming along nicely, although vitality could use a boost. As Oasis and Karka neared the cave, they continued chatting about status and stats. They also discussed Karka reaching maturity with her being level 5. When they finally entered the cave, Oasis instructed Karka to go to the other side of the cave. Seeing the little leech deflate, he explained his reasons. You will probably reach maturity and grow a lot bigger than you are now, and I don't want to get crushed because you wanted to sleep next to me. A simple and sad okay was all Oasis got as a response, but he was fine with it. Settling down for the day, Oasis began to drift into the dream realm, thinking about his possible evolutions and the effect alpha male might have on them. Stupid titles. Evolution. Oasis woke up when he felt Karka nudging him. Waking up and stretching, he asked, "What is it?" already knowing the reason. Oasis, I grew. Look, I'm so big now. Oasis was still a meter longer than her, although to be fair, Oasis was already 5 meters long. Keep it up and you will outgrow me in no time. Yay! As they exited the cave, Oasis already planned on what to do today. We will be hunting a lot today. I'm level 9 and I want to reach 10 as soon as possible, so we will be hunting outside our usual zone. Got it? Okay. With that, they went out. When they reached the already scouted area, Oasis went straight to the crocodile-headed snake eel. Feeling confident that Karka could take care of herself, he instructed her to go hunting alone in the place. When he finally reached the croco-snake eel's turf, he started preparing. So it's a snake-scaled eel with the head of a crocodile. It's sturdy and most likely has a strong bite. The eel factor might mean it's quick or can make twists and turns suddenly. What to do? Disable it. But how? I know crocodiles have a powerful bite. Since it has a crocodile's head, it might not strong have muscles to reopen its mouth, and why should it? It can kill anything here in one bite probably. So what I need to do is wrap myself around its mouth. That will make my tail whip useless, and that's pretty big. Whatever, I need to up my blood sucking anyways. Without further ado, Oasis began sneaking into its territory. When he spotted it, it was waiting with an open maw near a cluster of fish. From the mouth came the smell of blood, most likely its last victim. So I was right about the crocodile head thing, judging from its hunting strategy. Oasis slowly snuck behind it, making sure not to cross its line of sight. Now that I take a closer look, its eyes glow. Is that how it sees? As Oasis slowly drifted above its head, he took a position. 3, 2, 1. Whoop. Smack. He gave the waiting predator a whip of his tail, smacking it right in the head. He had hit it with so much power his tail stung a little. As the thing's head was caved in a little, Oasis moved quickly, taking advantage of its stunned state to wrap himself around its mouth. Once he was firmly in position, he punched his hands into its eyes and bit its temple. The scales were hard and he had to grind his way to its flesh. With only 2/3 of his teeth touching flesh, he was forced to suck its blood out as it began to thrash around. The predator, being blinded and its only dangerous physical weapon disabled, was panicking. Not once in its life had it been so much as threatened, and now it was beginning to slowly die. As Oasis fought to keep himself in position, he pushed his hands as deep into the being's eyes as he could and grabbed whatever he caught, yanking it out as he tightened his grip as to not fly off. As he finally pulled the something out, the being started spasming. Not dead yet, Oasis thought. Continuing to suck its blood out, Oasis began to feel better. He was heavily bruised from the fish's thrashing, but now he felt the bruises disappear. Does my blood sucking have a life-steal effect? That's awesome. Wait, Focus. After 18 seconds of spasming, the monster finally died and Abyssal was rewarded greatly. You killed a level 14 deep sea eel chimera. Bonus experience for killing a foe of higher evolution than you. Title: Small Terror, received. Conditions: kill a being with a higher evolution than you, kill a being of higher level than you, survive the encounter, be feared by the being in their last moments. Effects: being of higher evolution and or level are more wary of you. +1 level. +2 strength. +1 vitality. +1 endurance. You have reached your level cap, extra experience will be awarded after evolution. Beware, the longer you wait the less experience you will receive. Evolution available. Evolve now. Y/N. No, for now, I'll go and get Karka and head back to the cave. Finding Karka, after a few minutes of searching, he explained the situation to her and they headed back immediately. Once at the cave, Abyssal went in and settled down, choosing to evolve immediately. Congratulations on your evolution, please choose an evolution path from the following list. You will be choosing the exact evolution after choosing the path. Path of Terror. You are a menace to many. Choosing this path will increase physical stats immensely. You will be viewed unfavorably by most beings. Path of Dragons. You have shown immense potential, reaching the choice of paths in your first month after birth. Increases all stats immensely. You will be feared by common races. Dragons and cold-blooded beings view you favorably. Path of Kings. You have proven yourself a leader, even if your domain is small you are capable, encouraging you subordinates to reach further. Increases mental stats immensely, be viewed as regal by most beings, you subordinates will view you much more favorably. Path of Blood and Oceans. As you swim through the ocean you leave carnage behind you. Increases all stats greatly. The ocean moves to your will, instinctively no water magic and blood magic, you may be viewed as a myth. Holy shit. That's incredible. There are more on the list but they're pretty bad for me, like Path of Teaching or Path of Sleeping. So, the big four. I'll consider them one at a time. Path of Terror is pretty bad, I think. It will probably increase my physical stats more than I can imagine, but I don't want to be something that absolutely everything despises. Path of Kings looks tempting, I mean, who doesn't want to be a royalty? Sadly, it increases my mental stats only. As Abyssal hummed a familiar theme song in his head, another screen popped up. You have chosen the Path of Dragons, please choose your exact evolution details. Possible evolutions. Blood Drake. Weaker cousin of dragons, a drake is still plenty powerful. Gains blood magic. This evolution focuses more on magic and mental stats. Blood Dragon Leech. A being that has assimilated the best of blood dragons and deep sea leeches. It is a powerful evolution that increases all stats immensely. Beware that this evolution is difficult. Leech Dragon Prince. A precursor to a Dragon King, the Dragon Prince is a greater form of dragons. This evolution has assimilated the best parts of Deep Sea Leech. This evolution increases all stats immensely and unlocks the regal status. Beware that this path brings envy of others less fortunate. Custom evolution. Requirements. Be a variant, be an awakened being, have immense potential. Custom evolution. Do I trust myself to do a good job at that? The other option don't really entice me, except the Dragon Prince one. But I don't really want to die because something was envious of me and there's bound to be others who want to become a Dragon King. I guess custom evolution it is. As Abyssal chose the option, the world went dark. As it regained its color, everything stood still as if time had stopped. Hell, even I can't move. As he tried to look around, windows appeared in front of him. They were filled with sliders and boxes. The boxes were also filled. Legs, arms, anything he could think about would appear in them. Right, custom evolution. As he looked through all the sliders he got more and more giddy. Turns out that being able to customize the size of each individual teeth can be somewhat overwhelming, especially if you have 577 teeth, the exact number was written down. Finally getting a hold on himself, Opsai considered what he should choose. I definitely need a better way to bite. Some armor would be good since I have low health, scales would be good. Also being more aerodynamical would be good. Now what else? Just experiment. I could also add myself some wings. Are there some sorts of wings that work underwater? Ah, the boxes. I don't like any of them, they're too slick. Alright, no wings then, what about more arms? I don't really need legs. Wait, can I increase my stats? I can. Opsai continued to fiddle with the design for a while, trying out bits and pieces. When he was finished he looked over his choices one more time. So, an extra set of arms, changed mouth shape for better biting power, more aerodynamical body that's covered in scales, loads of bonus stats per level. What else? I could add an acid glands, but I'm not that interested in them. I still have some room for upgrades. I don't know how I know, but I know. That's a mouthful. Anyways, I guess I'll just add some more stats. And done. As Opsai said that the world went dark again. Custom evolution complete, adjusting stat gain per level to the body. +7 strength per level. +9 agility per level. +4 vitality per level. +3 endurance per level. +3 intelligence per level. +3 wisdom per level. +2 will per level. Adding accumulated experience. +3 levels. +21 strength. +27 agility. +12 vitality. +9 endurance. +9 intelligence. +9 wisdom. +6 will. Adjusting size. Size adjusted. Evolution complete. Monster rank changed to epic. When Opsai woke up again he had a slew of messages to go through. Once done he had some room to think, not much room to move though. Holy hell, that's a lot of stats, isn't it too op? Well, I am a dragon of sorts now. And huge, don't forget huge. Now I definitely want Karka to get the dragon evolution. Karka, damn, my voice is deep. We're going hunting. Huh? Why? Because I want you to evolve into a dragon as well. You're a dragon now. Yes, now let's go. As they began to move, Opsai looked over his status. Name, Opsai. Level, 13. Race, Deep Sea Leech Dragon, Variant, Epic. Health, 180 mana, 280 stamina, 220. Attributes. Strength, 38. Vitality, 18. Endurance, 22. Agility, 46. Intelligence, 26. Wisdom, 28. Will, 22. That's a good amount of stats. Opsai thought as they began to swim towards the territory of the snake-headed shrimp while instructing Karka to smack anything they swim by. Evolution 2, Karka Boogaloo. Karka had done as Opsai had instructed her to do, smacking all sorts of fish they came across. It took them an hour to reach the territory of the snake-headed shrimp, mainly because Opsai wanted to make a detour and try to level Karka to level 6 in case she lacked experience to evolve. It would be a pain in the ass to try and level up as level 9 against level 3s and 2s. I know that from experience. Karka, what level are you? Huh? I'm level 6. That's good enough, let's go. As Opsai said that, they changed directions and went straight to their target. Reaching the territory of snake shrimp, Opsai taught Karka how to fight as best as he could. The plan was for him to face it head-on and for Karka to attack its weak spots. Entering its territory, they swam higher as to not be seen. Karka, you remember what I taught you? Yes. You will fight it head-on and I will attack its weak spots. And do you know where its weak spots are? Between its armor, its joints and anything that looks soft. Good, you ready? Yes. Alright, let's go then. As they descended where Oasis had sensed it, they began to move slowly. In a few seconds Oasis got another read on their target, pointing out the location to Karka. They continued on more carefully. As they were above it, Oasis realized it was sleeping. Quietly telling that to Karka, he prepared to strike it in its nape. After a minute of preparing and moving slowly, he was ready. Giving the signal to attack to Karka, he hit. Crash. Crunch. As Oasis descended to fight the being, he realized how much damage he had done. The being was barely moving at all. Karka, attack with all you got. Oasis yelled as he grappled the being, making sure it was completely safe for Karla. Karka did as she was told, immediately beginning to smack the thing with her tail. After a few smacks, she descended as well and began to bite into its nape where Oasis had struck. Oasis extended one of his arms to lock the thing's head in place. Go for the eyes. Punch deep and pull out whatever you can. Karka again did as she was told, punching the snake-like eyes as strong as she could. Her arms reached elbow deep in before she began to pull. As she was pulling, the being started shacking, which soon turned into a full-blown spasm. As Karka finished pulling, Oasis realized what she had done. She had pulled out the thing's brain stem. How she had gotten it he had no idea, but the results were obvious. You killed a level 14 snake shrimp. Chimera. Give your share of experience to a pack member. Y/N. Yes, of course. As he did that, he heard Karka yelp. Wah, thank you so much. Don't fuss about it. Can you evolve? Yes, I can. Shall we go to the cave? No, evolve here, I will guard you. You might get a path which has a time limit that could end any minute now, so be quick. The path's name is Path of Dragons. Ah, okay. Karka cheerfully laid down and closed her eyes. What followed was Oasis screeching at anything that so much as dared to get close to them, which thankfully wasn't that many fish. Half an hour later, Oasis noticed Karka beginning to change. Scales started covering her body, stumps that wound become wings formed on her back, her head changed to allow better biting power, she grew 2 horns facing backwards and a large horn which faced forwards, and she grew. She grew a lot, reaching 8 meters in length and 1.5 in height. When she opened her eyes, she looked puzzled for a second, which was followed by a screech of joy. Oasis, look, I'm a dragon. That you are, little one? I'm not little. Sure. Anyways, what did you pick? I picked Deep Sea Dragon Leech. Is it good? I don't know, what stats does it give? Anything special in its description? It gives 3 strength, 2 vitality, 3 endurance, 4 speed, 3 intelligence, 2 wisdom and 2 will. Also, its description said stuff like difficult path and liked by deep sea dragons. Deep sea dragons? Well, I guess you will have more friends soon. Oasis laughed at his own joke as Karka blushed. How the hell is the blush visible through her scales? How do I even know she is blushing if I'm as blind as a mole? Oasis thought. They continued chatting as they made their way back towards their hole. When they arrived, Oasis realized an obvious overlook. They won't fit in the hole together. I guess we will be digging again. They set to work, finding it more difficult to bite off the rock with their current mouths, making them resort to using their tails. Oasis tried punching the walls, which worked surprisingly well. Well, call me Kyle, cause I'm gonna need some Monster Energy drinks. With his forehand he began to work with the efficiency of 2.5 Kyles. It took Oasis 30 minutes to make enough room to comfortably move around, increasing the working speed. 2 more hours had passed before they finished their work. The cave ended up reaching 18 meters across and 5 meters high. I guess it's a cavern now. After adding some finishing touches and smoothing out the floor, Oasis laid down and began to sleep. As Karka snuck beside him, he was too tired to tell her off, instead choosing to enjoy the added warmth. Yay evolutions. Long fish. When Oasis woke up again he was greeted by a serene quiet. For a second he thought that Karka went hunting again before realizing she was still sleeping beside him. Moving slowly as to not wake her he moved to the cave entrance to check what was happening. Sensing nothing in a 90-meter radius he started moving. After a few seconds of moving in one direction he sensed something. Moving closer to get a better read on it he started making out details. It was massive, 8 meters across, covered in scales and spikes that seemed to drip poison heavier than water, and it was moving. The absurdity of the thing took Oasis a second to realize. This thing was a living being, a gigantic living being. This thing had scared off all their potential prey. Taking a minute to calm down and not panic, Oasis observed it a little more. He realized that it was moving deeper and doing so fast. Considering that they were at least a kilometer deep in the water it made sense something like this would go deeper, but then why was it near the surface in the first place? As he wondered what to do and how to deal with the food problem he sensed Karka poking her head out of the cave. A second later she sensed him and swam towards him. Another couple seconds later she sensed the gigantic being and realized what it was and began to panic. As she reached Oasis he began to try and calm her down. After a minute of telling her to relax he managed to stop her from panicking too much. "Alright, have you calmed down now?" "Yes." "Good. Now then, we have to consider a few things. First, what we do about food. It was already going to be difficult to acquire and now it's downright impossible. Second, leveling. We have reached our first evolution from the levels of the predators we killed. It looks like we will be stuck at a low level here. To fix that we could go down, the same direction as that thing is going, or we could do the opposite and go up where it's potentially safer. What do you think?" I don't know, aren't you our leader?" "Yes I am, but that doesn't mean I won't listen to your opinion. I don't know if you would like to go up or down and I'm not going to force you to do what you don't want to do." Okay then, I don't know. I don't like to be hungry, that's all I know. Isn't there food wherever we go?" Sighing, Oasis answered, "I guess you're right, if you don't know then we will postpone it. Now then, we still need to eat, so let's go and look for food." "Okay." At the mention of food Karka cheered up a lot. As they went hunting Oasis and Karka tried out their new bodies a little to get more used to them. It had taken them an hour to find anything they could hunt. They had found a tuna swarm of 30 fish. I guess since there's a lot less of them now they decided to group together more. As they prepared to attack, Oasis noticed a few other fish swimming a couple dozen meters away from the swarm. Pointing it out to Karka, who was already drooling, he told her to take care of the fish there. "Why?" "Because they will come and try to eat your food." Okay. With that they split up, Oasis taking out the ones closer to the swarm and Karka taking out the ones further back. Sucking the fish dry of blood they met above the swarm once more. Discussing how they would attack the tuna, they agreed to both take on either side of the swarm, Oasis stunning them beforehand with his ability. Executing their plan, Oasis activated his ability on max power, the whole swarm going quiet in a second. The next second he and Karka were on them. Oasis punching and crushing with his hand while biting up heaps of fish. Karka punched as well but mostly used her wings, head and horns. They had discussed the effects their tails would have on the fish and decided to not use them simply because there wouldn't be anything to eat after. The swarm was killed in seconds, Oasis killing 6 fish a second and Karka killing 5, mostly due to the fact that using wings to slice fish was quite difficult. Dividing the fish equally they began to eat. "Hey Oasis, why are you giving me as much fish as you get if you killed more of them? Why shouldn't I divide the amount equally? Do you want less because you're so small?" "I'm not small." "Then you have to eat as much as I do to grow at the same rate." Continuing to chit-chatting they finished their food and went looking for more, neither of them being quite filled. It had taken them another hour to find a new swarm, this time they numbered in the 50s. Taking care of the lurking scavengers, they executed their strategy once more, Oasis stunning the fish and the two of them descending to slaughter them after. This swarm went quite like the last one, the only difference was the few extra seconds to kill off all the fish. Dividing the fish equally again, they began to eat. When they finished their meal, Oasis noticed some more scavengers showing up. Not finding the scavengers of any interest and having already eaten their fill, they began to swim back to their cave. Oasis, there are more scavengers, Karka announced, finally noticing few fish that had shown up. Good girl. Oasis praised her and gave her a head pat which resulted in a twirl from her. When they reached the cavern, Oasis chose to settle down near the entrance in case anything happened. Karka as usual settled down next to him. I hope that long thing won't cause any trouble. Long fish. A new species. As Orgman half walked half jogged down the corridor, he had his whole life flashing through his eyes. I was born in a noble family, being obviously outside the line of succession. I decided to dedicate my life to research. I began learning magic when I was 8, mathematics at 9, herbology and biology at 11, and so many more academic things it's hard to keep count. I was a genius, a prodigy of scholarship. I mastered most of my crafts before reaching 30. But not once in my life have I ever had the chance to learn about a new species. So new, in fact, it's estimated to be less than 200 years old. 200 years. That short amount of time is like a drop in a bath in the natural evolution. And in that short time this new species has become a bane to anything living in the oceans. When Orgman arrived in the research lab, he received a few nods as greetings. Greetings, great scholar Orgman. As per your instructions, we have preserved the body with the most delicate magics known to man. Good, good. And the background info? Right here, sir. We don't have time for this, just brief me about it quickly. As you wish, sir. The being was first reported by fishermen who had their catch stolen by it. They had set out to hunt it down by baiting it in with dead fish. When the being reached their boat, it quickly lost interest in the fish. Later analysis determined it to be the lack of blood in the fish. The fishermen didn't want to lose it, so one of them made a small cut in their finger and plunged it into the water. That had instantly gotten the attention of the being. As per the report of the surviving member of this endeavor, the being charged Craig immediately, bit into his arm and dragged him under the water. When his body surfaced, I reached to drag him back onto the boat, but when I got a hold of him, his body was like a wrinkled raisin. We believe the being has an ability to suck other beings' blood using magic through their teeth, and the speed of it is judged to be around a bucket worth a second, depending on how many teeth it manages to bite with. When the surviving fisherman returned, he described the being and its actions. The guard he was telling this realized how big of a problem this is and got the Adventurers Guild involved. The result of that is the dead being and some info on it. As per the words of the adventurers, it was called Deep Sea Leech and was level 3. Its exact size has been measured already. Its length is 3.5 meters and it reaches a quarter short of a meter high. And what was the level of the fisherman it killed? Level 13, sir. Gods above humans may not be the sturdiest of races and the man's profession might not be suited for combat, but the vitality from it would be enough to compare to a novice knight, and it was level 3? Yes, sir. Deep-sea creatures have always been reported to be of terrifying capabilities, but this is simply unbelievable. I can't even begin to imagine what would happen if one were to reach the path of dragons. If it sucks out blood with magic, then a high will stat would be best as defense, but I doubt they don't have a way to mitigate it. Alright, let's begin the examinations. 3 weeks later. Orgman had just returned from the King's Council. He had reported his findings and made sure to ask for a specific emergency group to deal with the Deep Sea Leech. More were bound to surface and they will most likely be stronger than the one they found. First the World Binder and now a new species. When will I get some rest? Going down. When Oasis woke up again, he had quite a few things to consider. One of them was once again food. The other was going up or down. Mulling over it for a half an hour, he came to a decision just as Karka woke up. Hey Karka, you want to eat lots of food, right? Yes. And you want to level up? Yes. Then we're going deeper. There's bound to be lots of gains to be made there, and after considering it, there's bound to be dangers no matter the direction we go to. That makes sense. It's good that you understand this. Now then, let's go hunt. Food. They continued to discuss topics like optimal number of hands and other small things as they ventured out to acquire food. After 3 hours and killing close to 100 fish, both Oasis and Karka were filled. Now then, let's start going deeper. But Oasis, which way is deeper? The same way the long fish went. Oh. Discussing what they would find deeper in the ocean, they continued on. After traveling for 3 hours and crossing over 200 kilometers of ground, they came up on a cliff. Oasis suspected a downward slope, but he didn't expect a cliff. What do we do now, Oasis? We could go straight down, but there's probably going to be something nasty down there. For now, let's swim along the side of the cliff. They continued to swim for another 30 minutes until Oasis saw light. Seeing lights wouldn't be too alarming par for the fact they were next to a deep chasm and were deep in the ocean. Moving closer, Oasis began to make out a shape with his echolocation. I think it's an anglerfish. It has all the characteristics of an anglerfish: lure light on a stick-like appendage, many teeth, and a disgusting body shape. Relaying the information to Karka, they decided to encircle it. Karka started to move behind it as Oasis approached it from the front. Sensing that Karka was in position, he gave the signal they agreed on and rushed the giant anglerfish. When the being realized its trap was seen through, it attempted to bite Oasis, but being late to react, it received a face full of tail instead. As the tail impacted the anglerfish, Karka reached it from behind and bit it hard. Tearing into the flesh, she gave it a few good punches. After a couple of seconds, the being died and the two hunters were informed what it actually was. You killed a level 12 anglerfish. I wasn't expecting much and was still disappointed. On another note, this will be a good hunting ground. After killing the anglerfish, Oasis and Karka continued to look around for another hour. Finding nothing noteworthy, they decided to dig a hole to sleep in. The digging had gone swimmingly. It only took them 2 hours to dig a proper hole this time around. Albeit the hole was quite cramped. Electing to ignore the skinship, Karka was enjoying. Oasis began to drift to sleep. Anglerfishies. A new oasis. Oasis and Karka had traveled for 2 days by now and were getting hungry, only the occasional anglerfish keeping them from starving. They were about to stop again and rest when Oasis saw lights. He wasn't as wary of lights anymore, mainly because he hunted the anglerfish. What he saw though was what could be described as a starry sky. Small flecks of light littered the sea floor. Studying it closer, he noted them to be fish and, strangely enough, luminescent plants. The place was teeming with life. Oasis even noticed a few predators mulling about. Choosing to go and finally fill his stomach, Oasis began swimming towards the lights. Karka, who had gotten a lot better at spotting things, noticed this as well and cheerfully followed Oasis, all the while talking about what food there would be. When they reached the edge of the oasis, he and Karka decided on a plan. Observe, plan, execute. Observe the fish and their habits, plan an attack or an ambush and execute the said plan in targeted fish. Observing all the various species of fish took a better part of an hour. There were many different species, but they were all ultimately quite similar, must be from the same fish family, Oasis mused. He also took the liberty to observe other predators in the R and studied the way they hunted. Turns out they try to blend in, which is quite successful as they are bioluminescent and colorful like the plants, matching them in size as well and being ambush predators. This means Oasis has a hard time noticing them without echolocation. He concluded that thanks to one of the predators coming into his range and setting up an ambush. The predator stuck out like a sore thumb to Oasis. He mentioned this to Karka, who began to put in even more effort to better her scouting skills. After the observation, they began to plan. Opsai pointed out that they would look like literal moving shadows next to the colorful fish. Karka agreed with him, proposing they come from above since it was dark there. Opsai agreed with her and gave her praise. She had after all come up with that plan all on her own. They discussed it some more and chose to have another call sign with minimal movement, since they could quite literally tell even the slightest moves apart. Moving up and above the oasis of colors, they began to look for the biggest and juiciest fish they could find, ending up choosing one of the predators simply due to their size. If we hunt them enough, the small fish population would boom and we could have free reign over them. So many fish we could eat. Opsai was brought out of his fantasies by their target moving. They of course followed it. A dozen minutes later they came upon the nest of all the predator fish around. It was gigantic and contained a gigantic version of the predator fish. After this change of plans, Opsai proposed they make a lair of their own near the edge of the oasis and eat some smaller fish first. They were in a dire need of a plan if they were to go up against this thing. It was damn massive, maybe twice as big as me, and I'm huge. I guess it would be possible to hunt the predator fish near the fringes of their territory since there are other predators as well. The only reason I'm willing to even fight them is because they look so tasty. Worry not, me. There's plenty of fish around, and if push comes to shore we can try power leveling by hunting and killing everything in sight without a care in the world. Opsai had many thoughts as they hunted. As their usual after the hunt chit-chat began, Opsai explained to Karka his plans as well as the possibility of power leveling. It is safe to assume Karka will be dreaming about power leveling and hunting if her reaction was any indication. Getting back to the edge of the oasis, they began to dig out their own cave to rest at. Digging had only become easier as they continued to practice it and get used to their new bodies. It had taken 4 hours, but Opsai and Karka had made a lair of decent size. It was 12 meters across and 4 high, big enough to house both of them and small enough to be comfortable. As they settled down, Opsai was tired, more so than any time before. He was also happy that they had found food, as his last resort would have been diving into the chasm and hoping for the best. As sleep began to take Opsai, Karka settled down next to him and went to sleep as well. Fishy oasisy. Hunting from above. Opsai woke up to Karka shuffling around. Giving her a head pat and stretching, he went out. So today hunt? Yeah, we already came up with a strategy and have a good call sign for when to attack. Now all we need is a good prey. The I'm definitely a tree predator is a good target. Finding them is also easy, just swim around and they pop up. Although hunting too many of them will probably alert the big one, I guess we will hunt the small fish and snipe any tree predators we find. Discussing the idea with Karka was helpful as she pointed out an incredible tactic. What if we hunted near another predator group's ground and killed the tree predator fishies? That's an excellent idea. Giving Karka a head pat, Opsai expanded on that idea. We can also hunt the predators of the other territory that way too. It's basically a free feeding ground. As they cheerfully continued chatting, they swam up and started looking around for a suitable place to execute their strategy at. It had taken 3 hours to find a suitable target. Mainly because the tree predator fishies' hunting ground was huge and they had to confirm if there was another predator group's territory next to it. The suitable group they found was a thin and aerodynamic fish with a jutting horn in front. They were quite fast but lacked maneuverability and sight, only seeing what's in front of them. This resulted in them being pack hunters and more than an easy target. I guess anything is an easy target to a dragon, especially one that can liberate you of all your blood in seconds. As Opsai and Karka began their hunt, Opsai made a mental note to try and remember the tree predator species name. They had hunted for 7 hours straight, eating as much as possible. There were so many fish around it was simply impossible to stop, especially if you can move quick, eat as you kill and kill a lot. They both were stuffed and had gained a new level. You killed a level 6 fat tuna fauna. You killed a level 5 weak sword fish. +1 level. +7 strength. +9 agility. +4 vitality. +3 endurance. +3 intelligence. +3 wisdom. +2 will. Sue fat tuna. Also I forgot that I get so many stats per level. Also Karka is probably close to another level. Also we need a bigger cave. Also. As they returned from their hunting trip, Oasis explained to Karka the need to expand the cave. It was obvious that she wasn't thrilled about it, but a simple explanation of how they could get stuck and die made her dig vigorously. An hour passed before Oasis and Karka finished their cave expansion. It now was 17 meters across and 5 high, giving them ample room to move and grow. Oasis was certain they would grow a lot after their little outing. Oasis and Karka continued to chat until sleep finally came to them. As Oasis began to start dreaming, he felt Karka once again settling down next to him. Waking up again was an atrocious activity. To his and Karka's surprise, they had both grown 2 meters longer, being 11 meters and 10 meters respectively. They had also grown taller. Oasis was now 2 meters high and Karka was 1.5 high. This growth spurt had surprised Karka a lot. What happened? We never grew this much. Oasis on the other hand had his suspicions as to why it was the case. It might be related to us not growing a lot during our trek here. Ah, that does make sense. As Karka calmed down, they talked about random stuff again as they made their way back to the hunting grounds. One topic that came up was how their bodies work. We don't really work like the other fish. I mean, you saw it too, that the horde of isopods left behind so much shit it created an entire ecosystem. Yet we don't do anything like that, so that begs the question, where does all that blood go to? Oasis mused. I don't know, whenever I eat I feel like I'm getting more whole, like as if I lost a finger or something and after eating it grew back. Well, we do have an ability to regain our health from others if we eat their blood. Maybe we take their blood and make it ours. In the sense that it changes and becomes identical to our blood. What if we someday suddenly excrete all the blood as shit? That's disgusting, Karka, and I fear you might be completely right. Welp, I don't feel like eating anymore. Oh, look, a fat tuna. Where? See, you can still eat. Meanie. Oasis and Karka continued to talk about random stuff as they reached the hunting grounds again. This time Oasis noted the far more numerous fat tuna and bigger but less numerous groups of swordfish. Karka had also taken note of it and mentioned it, which earned her praise from Oasis and a head pat. As they closed in on the biggest group of swordfish around, Oasis activated his title. His and Karka's tried and trusted method of scaring the shit out of their enemies and slaughtering them worked like a charm against big groups. Finishing up the swordfish group, they quickly ate and moved on. This time they went to the fat tuna. Oasis and Karka split up, both going out and hunting at least 3 of the fish and wait for the other to hunt 3 as well as they had agreed, although both knew the other hunted more than 3, so they just kept going until their paths crossed. Finishing up on the tuna side, they went on to hunt the small fish around since they were a delicious one-bite snack. They finished their hunt earlier than the last time. Even then they only stopped after 4 hours simply because Oasis didn't want it to become too obvious it was their doing. Their fish, how smart can they be, although even they are smarter than to leave us unchecked. Heading back, they once again talked about random stuff and expanding their cave. When they reached said cave, they got to work making it larger once again, which mostly consisted of making the cave taller since Karka didn't want to stop entangling her tail with Oasis even after he explained what could happen to them. Are you sure you don't want to stop entangling your tail with mine? Oasis questioned Karka. Of course not. Sleeping in the same cave would be pointless otherwise. I guess that answers it. Once more settling down after digging, Oasis quickly noticed Karka not only entangling her tail with his but also snuggling up to him. Am I seriously falling for a fish? I guess I'll have to be the judge of my own moral compass soon. Big ass fish. Oasis woke up feeling quite happy. He had a new food source, he wasn't deathly afraid of the ocean anymore, and leveling up was quite fun. Overall he was a happy man or a happy fish dash. All was good. Except he was slowly going mad. Deciding to shove last night's thoughts away, he went out of his hiding hole to enjoy the non-existent sun. To hell with that thing. Oasis thought, quickly jumping back into his cave. Once inside he saw the questioning expression on his only friend underwater, Karka. What happened? Ski asked, completely oblivious to the monstrosity outside. There's a big-ass fish outside. No, we can't eat it, it's way too big. Not even a nibble. If you were to nibble on it you would be carried away by it. So not even a little. No, that thing is probably some angler fish or something and at least 10 times my size. It even carries a miniature sun around. What's a sun? Ah, right. You have never seen a sun. It's a big and very bright thing that lights up most of the world. Like the one there. Yes, the one that, oh no. Looking behind himself, Oasis saw a giant source of light moving slowly over the sea floor, looking for things to eat. Karka. Start digging, we're covering up the entrance to our cave. On the command, Karka whipped her tail against the cavern wall, loosening up quite a bit of rock. Oasis went to the other side of the cavern and started punching the wall while praying the big-ass fish doesn't sense them or has fingers. It took a few minutes to get enough rock to cover up the entrance, but once they had enough, Oasis started piling up the rock while Karka brought more of it closer to him. Another few minutes later the entrance was completely covered. No light passed through their improvised barricade. I hope we won't be found. For hours has passed since they last saw the light. It had been an intense few minutes at first but quite quickly turned into boring waiting. To get rid of the boredom, Oasis and Karka began to chat. He even taught Karka how to play chess, which she was quite good at. Granted, neither knew anything about the game other than how the pieces moved. The final score was 11-3, an overwhelming victory for Oasis. After their little game, Oasis got bored again and began to look at the cave they had dug. Rocky, of course it's rocky, dumbass. There's a crack, there's another crack, an outcrop, somewhat smooth surface, a pair of eyes, another series of eyes. Oasis focuses on the eyes. They were focusing on him back. Oasis was amused but not scared. After all, the eyes were in the perfect spot for a tail whip. He studied the eyes, mostly because there was no body to examine. The eyes were glowing goldish yellow with snake-like quality. It got dimmer and brownish near the edges. It was a perfect pair of eyes for a predator, if only they weren't so damn small. After a couple of minutes the eyes disappeared and Oasis was left into boredom again. Which caused him to take a nap. The nap turned out to take around 2 hours and was the only reason they spent 4 hours hiding in their cavern. Removing the rock barricade and swimming out, Oasis didn't see the big fish anymore. What he did see though reaffirmed his decision of blocking off the entrance. A big chunk of the ground a few dozen meters away was gone, and with it the glowing forest that was on top of it. Oasis guessed the big-ass fish took a bite and wasn't quite happy with all the stone it got. Even though the big-ass fish was gone, many of the small fish were still hiding. Prime time to eat, huh? With that they went out again. 7 hours later they had eaten their fill and returned to their cavern hole. With a full belly and a level up, Oasis checked his status. Name, Oasis. Level, 15. Race, Deep Sea Leech Dragon, Variant, Epic. Health, 260 mana, 440 stamina, 280. Attributes. Strength, 52. Vitality, 26. Endurance, 28. Agility, 64. Intelligence, 32. Wisdom, 44. Will, 26. I have grown quite a bit. Karka had a level up as well. Being in the ocean isn't that bad, I guess. Squirming around a bit for a more comfortable sleeping spot, Oasis quickly started to fall asleep. A sun in the ocean. Seaman's bane, the Kraken. In the sea there lurk many terrors and horrors unimaginable. Thankfully most stay away from the surface and even less are known to the common man. One that is known though is the kraken. Some scholars call them gigantic surface squid. Some sapient sea species and adventurous adventurers call them too much of a coward to stay in the deep. The reason for that name is simple. Kraken may be terrifying to common man, but their main advantage is their size and tentacles, and that is only near the surface because in the deep they are considered medium-sized and their tentacles are a hindrance. Against ships that can't maneuver like a living being they are a menace, but even then can be driven off. The kraken also have a rumor of being hard to near impossible to kill, that is because they will run away the moment they feel unsafe. They truly are simple squids. That is knowledge many adventurers near the sea know, but they never tell that to the common seafarer. Why? Because they get overconfident and challenge the deep to show them something truly terrifying, and the deep will deliver, be it an underwater current, work of a god or simply bad luck, the deep will answer. It is not known why it answers, but that knowledge isn't pursued in fear of more happening. In conclusion, the common man is left to fear the simple things like kraken as to not tempt fate to show worse things. Great scholar Orgman Ulzage on what lurks in the sea. Peace and quiet. Opsai was happy. He has been happy for a week now. Nothing big to bother him, lots of fish to eat and a cave to sleep in. Life was peaceful and quiet. Sleep, hunt, talk. That's how his day has been for a week. Of course it had come to end, he was, after all, in the deep sea. What he didn't expect was for the mountain on which foot their newish hunting ground rested to erupt. It had been a glorious explosion, rocks flying everywhere, fish squirming about, ash and other earthly substance floating to the surface. That was all kinda apocalyptic. What sucked the most though was the lava. Granted it didn't flow straight down, some of it cooled too fast or somehow floated. The lava, as it had been flowing, flowed somewhat towards the oasis he had found. Praying to all that glows, he hoped dearly that the lava won't reach the glowing underwater forest or their hiding hole. He knew of course that it was pointless to pray. "Hey Carla, you see that red-orange thing flowing towards us? That's lava and it's dangerous. So we will be avoiding it." "How would we avoid it though?" "By swimming above it." "Oh. Oh indeed." As they began to swim upwards, Opsai had an idea. They would hunt and eat as much as they could in preparation to the lava flow. Doing just that, they went into the glowing forest. Peace and quiet. Two things Opsai enjoyed greatly. They were also unreasonably hard to acquire. They had just wanted to hunt and eat as much as possible, granted that strategy meant they wouldn't do it quietly, which was something he should have thought about before going out and slaughtering the local fish populace. They had killed 1/5 as much in the last hour as they had killed in that week, so around 300 fish, which itself netted him another level. Taking a last look at his status and skills, he mentally prepared for the fight that was about to happen. Name, Opsai. Level, 22. Race, Deep Sea Leech Dragon, Variant, Epic. Health, 540 mana, 650 stamina, 490. Attributes. Strength, 101. Vitality, 54. Endurance, 49. Agility, 127. Intelligence, 53. Wisdom, 65. Will, 40. Current skills. Blood sucking level 5. Swim level 6. Bite level 4. Charge level 4. Sneak level 3. Tail whip level 5. I guess my luck ran out. It was a relaxing week while it lasted. Now, on to more important stuff. I've seen a steady improvement. Even though I get less EXP from the fish around, I still got almost a level a day. My skills improved a lot as well. Opsai quickly went over his stats again, finishing his assessment that he was indeed overpowered. He gave Karka the signal. They had agreed on beforehand that if they had to fight the big fat tuna, they would have a plan for it. Truth be told, the tuna didn't seem too threatening, their only offensive attack was their bite, which was quite weak. Though the fat tuna were weak, they still had to account for its size. It was approximately 26 meters long, 5 meters wide and 6 meters high. Compared to that, Odyssey was 15 meters long, 4 wide and 4 tall. Karka was even smaller than that, being 2 meters shorter than Odyssey and half a meter less wide as well as tall. As they moved closer, they put their plan into action. Odyssey would taunt it and feint attack while Karka attacked its weak spots. When it was weakened enough, Odyssey would put to use his full speed and quickly tail whip the being. After that he would attack head-on. Unfortunately for them, that didn't happen. Suddenly they sensed at least 60 fat tuna approaching them behind the mama tuna. The extra tuna made it impossible for Karka to attack its weak spot. As they were beginning to be surrounded, Odyssey had an idea. Karka, retreat. We will kill them slowly until there's only the big one left. It had been an hour. Odyssey and Karka had killed around 40 of the tuna chasing them, but more had joined the swarm. The lava flow was also getting close to them. Odyssey predicted another half an hour before it reached them, at which point they would have to leg it. At least we will have full stomachs if we have to run. Odyssey, though. Deciding enough was enough, Odyssey told Karka to continue what she was doing as he began to gather the tuna into a group by swimming circles around them. After having gathered around a dozen tuna, he readied himself and thump! Whack! He smashes them with his tail, going so fast he turned most of the gathered prey into mush. The few still left alive he punched to death. Odyssey felt quite smart for a second. The next he was being bitten down on by the giant mama tuna. Half a minute later, Odyssey got a notification. You killing a level 33 patriarch tuna. Bonus experience for killing a foe higher level than you. +1 level. +7 strength. +4 vitality. +3 endurance. +9 agility. +3 intelligence. +3 wisdom. +2 will. Gods, it's finally over. Oh shit, Karka. Sensing around, Odyssey quickly fawned her, killing off the remaining fat tuna. Ah, Karka. A bit help? Odyssey asked sheepishly. Sure. After Karka helped him out of the patriarch tuna's maw, they began to assess how the battle had gone. A couple of minutes of contemplating and congratulating Karka later, they began to swim upwards to get the view on the volcanic flow again. Odyssey finally laid his thoughts to rest when they reached a sufficient height. Looking over the flow of molten volcanic rock, Odyssey couldn't help but admire it. He had always liked volcanoes and lava, as well as the destruction they brought. It was just so unique. Admiring the view with Karka for a while, he looked on as the lava destroyed the area they used to hunt at. There goes another food source to a natural disaster. Yes, I consider that long-ass fish a disaster. The scene was quite captivating until it finally ended. This meant that Odyssey and Karka had to find yet another hunting ground to have anything to eat. Peace and quiet, huh? Was fun while it lasted. Giant bubbles. Odyssey was bored. He and Karka had been swimming for more than a day now. There was nothing to see, except the still smoking volcano. They had been swimming near it, just in case they got lost. This is boring, there's nothing to even hunt here. At least I'm not hungry right now. As Odyssey continued to muse to himself, he nearly missed the giant bubble floating a dozen hundred meters away. Hey Karka, do you see that bubble? Yes. Wanna see what is making it? Yes. As they began to swim towards the bubble, Odyssey hoped there was something edible near it. There was nothing edible near where the bubbles came. In fact, there was nothing near it. Granted, the bubbles came from a ravine wider and possibly deeper than the last one. Odyssey obviously didn't want to swim into it. Hey, wanna go and look somewhere else? Odyssey asked Karka. No. I like the bubble thingies, said Karka while pouting. Fine, let's look into the ravine then. I didn't even know fish can pout. Odyssey was too tired to argue with her and was kinda interested in what made these bubbles. The adventure down wasn't that interesting, they came across plenty of angler fish but nothing else. So there's a sun that goes around the world? Karka asked Oasis. Well, the world moves around the sun. The world spinning makes it look like the sun moves around the world. Oasis explained. Oh, okay. It's very confusing. I know, when I was told that it was hard to understand as well. Anyways, there should also be something called a moon, that moves around the world, and yes, the moon moves around the world. Whoa. How do you know all this? Well, I'm from a world where it was like that. There was a moon that moved around the world and the world moves around the sun. I don't really know how it's like in this world, maybe there are more suns, maybe there are more moons, all I know is that in my former world there was only one of both. So cool. Oasis is from another world. What was it like? Sighing, Oasis began to explain to Karka what the world was like. He explained her the plant life, the fauna and culture of humans. He told her what humans are and taught her how to count from 1 to 1,000, it wasn't really difficult since it sort of repeated itself. He also taught her calculus, at which she was rightfully mad at. No one should be tortured like that. Oasis had been teaching her different things for a few hours now and was halfway through explaining how birds fly when they were blasted by dozens upon dozens of bubbles. What the dash? Oasis couldn't finish his sentence before he was washed away by the bubbles. When Oasis finally awoke, he was greeted by a panicking Karka. Turns out he was hit head-on while she had hit behind him. Although it didn't hurt much, he was knocked out by the pressure. I'm alright, Oasis tried to calm down the more and more panicking Karka. After a couple of minutes he managed to calm her down. Okay then, Karka, did you see what made the bubbles? No. It's alright, we'll find out soon anyways. Huh, what do you mean? Well, for one, I want payback for the bubbles, 2, I'm interested in what made the bubbles. Oh. Oh indeed, Karka, oh indeed. As Oasis stretched, he wondered just what made the bubbles. I'm definitely gonna bite whoever did it, and if it's not an animal then I'm gonna whip at it with my tail. As Oasis steeled his resolve, he began to swim towards the bottom of the ravine again.